Hello, this Gator coming at you live. How we all doing tonight? Got a book review for you. Um, Shoemaker, The Darkest Hour, a novel. Go check it out. I'm sure you get it cheaper now, but back when I bought this, it was around $25.99. I want to have a town hall tonight. I don't know if people will pipe in or not. We have a serious problem going on with some of our wildlife. Grouse are almost down to zero, almost considered extinct in Ohio. Quail as well, and some breeds of duck because people are taking their kids out and not teaching them properly. You shoot what you eat. If you ain't gonna eat it, don't shoot it. You know, it's not about how many you can get. Okay, any freaking idiot can go out and shoot 100 birds. All right, in a weekend. But that makes it dead wrong because are you going to eat that many birds? No, you're not. No, you're not. You're a liar if you say you are. So stop the madness, please. And we're going to try to open a dialogue with the Honorable Mike DeWine, the governor, and see if he cannot get something going to replenish the grouse and the quail, the ducks and the pheasants here in Southwest Ohio, well, all over Ohio actually, and on over into Pennsylvania actually. Maybe we get the Pennsylvania governor. I don't even know his name. Don't care, but um, no offense against y'all from Pennsylvania. I'm just saying, I don't have to live under him, so don't have to worry about his name. But y'all know who I'm talking about. Um, I do a lot of talking about the '80s. We don't talk a whole lot about the '80s shows, TV shows, and stuff, and movies. So I'm gonna elaborate on that just a little bit. Um, we had the real Miami Vice. We had the real Magnum PI, which was awesome, both of them. And that's an actor that never got his dues, in my personal opinion, was Don Johnson. Phenomenal actor, seemed to be an all around really good guy. Uh, you know, like they say, his star is there, but it's not a bright star. It's there, it shines, but it's not that bright. Um, as the old saying used to go, the old cliche. But we had better cartoons, we had better TV shows. You could walk out of the room while your kid was watching wrestling, didn't have to worry about obscene gestures and cussing and all that going on. And yeah, I know it's the real world now, but that sucks because not everybody wants their kid to be like that. Not everybody wants their kid to grow up to be a little thug, or a little hooligan or whatever you want to call them. When a certain person back in the early '90s tossed discipline out of the home, now look what we got. It speaks for itself. Anyway, in your community, wherever you're at, try to keep the peace. Try to keep the peace peacefully. Don't be a hero. Don't be a Saturday morning, quarterback. But try to keep people calm. Keep yourself calm. Go back to school. If you're 50 years old, go back and study your high school stuff. If you don't want to go back to school, just go back and read about your high school stuff. That way, it refreshes what you may have lost over that time. Um, they did a test here recently, and they had all these guys, from like they graduated, I believe, around 94, 95, and they couldn't do algebra now. And they were all straight A students in algebra. They couldn't even do algebra now. They totally forgot how to do it. And that's 7 years, 8 years after I graduated, So, but if you put forth an effort, you can succeed. They always say do things on your terms. And then they also say, well, if it don't work on your terms, bend it a little bit. Well, I mean, that's up to you. That's a personal decision. And I'm not here to preach to nobody or anything. I think that personally, that people do what people want to do within the limits. Don't ever reach out and try to harm anyone. I know that we're going through some really trying times right now, is what I'm trying to say. Don't ever reach out and try to hurt anyone or do anything bad to anyone. Go talk to a policeman, a minister, or whatever. Just don't do nothing stupid. Get into crafts, paint by number, puzzles, family. If you're like me and you don't have all that, do paint by number. Do pick up an instrument and play it. Play guitar or piano or trombone. I used to be the only trombone player in my school when I went to a private school. They had every instrument out there, and I was the only trombone player. Talk about feeling out of place. But it was cool. It was definitely trial and error because nobody taught me how to play but me. I mean, at one time I could play really well. I mean, my mother had got me a trombone, and literally, and it was a cheapie the first time, And literally, I got to where I was getting so good on it, I became an intermediate that she went out and bought me another trombone, and we sold my first trombone to, get some of the money back. And I remember, man, I wish I still had that trombone. Oh my God, that thing be worth $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 now, because that was a really nice trombone. Back then, they were, it was like $500, $600, $700. That was big money back then. We're talking about the early to mid 80s. Well, it was early 80s. Yeah, now those trombones go $5, $6, $7, $8, $9,000. I mean, it's crazy. And I really enjoyed playing trombone. I mean, now it's a headache for your neighbors, if you do it at night, I'm sure. But, point being, there's outlets. Take them. Don't do nothing crazy. Don't do nothing stupid. Just concentrate on yourself right now, and let's make America again. Let's start a movement. Let's start a movement. Let's demand that General Motors come back and hire Americans. Starting off with the Americans that they screwed over, all the Americans that they screwed over and illegally fired for whatever reason, or claimed that they walked off the job when they didn't. That'd be a place to start. Make GM hire Americans and work. Fill Dayton, Ohio back up with jobs, Cincinnati, Ohio back up, Cleveland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Bring all the jobs back. Not, and I'm not saying all, but you know what I mean. They could have a lot of jobs here and be hiring a lot of Americans, where Americans could have a home, a decent car, a nice little pension, but they don't want to do that. I don't understand. I really don't. But I guess it's not meant for me to understand. That's above my pay grade. Me, myself, I couldn't see hiring anybody but an American or Canadian or our Mexican brothers and sisters. I could see that. But having it here, and having everybody pay taxes and everybody putting in the kitty like we used to, what's going on is just crazy. But like I said, there's outlets. Read a book, read a good book. Now this book don't look good because it's got that nasty mark on the front of it, but it's actually a very good book. Let's see, Not Being Trusted was something Rosset knew all about. He understood suspicion. He worked for the Germans and and wore a swastika on his lapel. Everywhere he went, people eyed him, guarding their words as much as they would guard their ration book if they were a thief. People assumed he was reading their minds, and sometimes he felt as if he was. He didn't trust people in public, and the public didn't trust him. He gotten used to it, lived it, and breathed it, was comfortable with it, and accepted it. He read their eyes, he watched their hands, listened to their bodies as much as he listened to their voices. That was why that's why he was such a good thief and taker before the war. Suspicion was his job. It had never occurred to him that the Germans suspected him. He'd done everything that they asked of him. In return, he never asked a question or ruffled any feathers until today. That's a good book. Matter of fact, I'll plan on finishing it up this weekend. Another show that came out, I believe it was late 70s, because when I was in elementary school, okay, and I missed this a lot because, there was even grown-ups that went to these things. When I was in elementary school, they had what they call book day. And I think it would come twice, 2 or 3 times a year. And it was literally an old-fashioned wagon on wheels. And they would pull it up on the concrete slab right in front of the front doors of the school. Now, when you go into the school and you go check into your class and you're sitting there, then the teacher would call you, okay, we'll go out here to the reading bus and everybody's going to pick out a book that they want. And your parents would have given you money, or the school would also allot a little, money for, kids that couldn't afford it, or, whatever. Nobody was left out. That was the awesome thing about when we went to school. Nobody was left out. And I remember you'd step up into this cart, and there was this old white man sitting in there. And he had these spectacles on. There's stacks of books just everywhere. Shelves of books. Of course, they had bars across them so the books didn't fly out as he was driving down the road with the horses, because they used to make it neat for us and bring horses with the buggy, But anyway, it was just a really neat time. And I remember that's where I bought my book about Benjamin Franklin, which I still have. It was also a place where I bought my first Hobbit book from J.R.R. Tolkien, because we knew that we was going to have to read that anyway. We was already talking about it. I saw it and I just said, well, I'll buy it, and it was like 50 cents at that time. Jesus, now you go to buy that book, and these were hardbacks. So, and these were when they still had, before they had made the corrections and the literacy of the Hobbit, because he had made some mistakes in there as a writer. And that's how the teachers in my school actually was seeing if we were actually reading. And they would tell you, don't tell nobody or you're going to get in trouble, just because that's part of the test. Okay. And that's how they would tell. And then you'd have to write an essay, and then you'd have to straighten it out. And, it was really neat. Teachers back then earned their money. They don't these days. Computer do it. Go learn off the computer. Go. Just leave me be. Let me eat my apple. Nah. Do your job. You make rock star wages now. You ought to be putting a rock star performance, for your class. I don't see that. I've not heard of that in years from any teachers. So that's a problem. But anyway, Back to the hunting and fishing thing. I do know they stock certain fish early in the spring, like in Mad River and Clear Creek, and a lot of the bigger creeks, that get small, big, small, big. You know what I mean? They go from small to big, and they stock all these different fish in there, and some of them can live in there, and some of them can live in there, but they can't like reproduce in there, like rainbow trout can't reproduce so far in Clear Creek, but you can occasionally catch one. I would love to know where they dump them in at. That way, you know where to go to catch them. But they usually keep that sort of thing a secret. Um, we need more forest rangers in Ohio. We need to clean up our parks. We need to clean up our act. I was born and raised in Ohio, so I have every right to say this. And I love Ohio. I can't imagine living anywhere else, really. I mean, everybody has dreams of it, but if I was to leave Ohio and it wasn't for like West Virginia or for, like Colorado or North or South Dakota, Vermont, because I love snow, you know. I mean, it would have to be out of the United States. That's the only place I could really see me moving, other than what I just named off. Someplace like Scotland or Ireland. And I could return to Ireland because to live in Ireland, they literally have a law where you have to be able to prove that your ancestors came from Ireland, and then you can return. Um, and I believe Scotland's got some things that they're changing on as well. I'm not sure, but I believe I did read that. So don't quote me on that, but I believe that Scotland's even getting more picky. I'll be doing some fly fishing this coming spring, and I'm gonna get one of those little cams because I have an operation coming up. And after I heal up and I heal up good enough to go out there and get in the streams and go fishing, I'm gonna take you guys with me, and I'll be doing some talking, and you guys can watch me either catch fish or not. We'll see. I don't want to tell nobody what to do, but this weighs on my heart heavy. If you have a child in your house and you own firearms, I'm not waving a flag. I'm not telling you what to do. So please don't take it like this or like that. Um, get a gun safe and lock them up, man. And don't tell nobody where the key's at. Matter of fact, keep the key on you all the time. You know, um, get them things locked up. Let's stop these kids from making these mistakes. It starts with parenting. That's where the biggest change is going to come. Is parenting. My father taught me at an early age what to do and what not to do when it came to things like that. And I listened to him. You know, I would never, ever, ever in my life want to harm anyone. You know, and that's why I keep on saying, let's keep the peace. Don't lash out in anger. If you have a disagreement with somebody before it escalates, just say, you know what, you have a blessed day, my friend, and walk away. Walk away before it even starts to escalate. Just walk away. Um, a lot of us don't agree with what's going on right now. It's okay to voice your opinion, but don't make threats, and don't try to endorse violence, please. If anything, let's stop the violence. You know, there's every 4 years we get to vote. Keep that in mind. Now, during this time, we should reflect, try to get everybody jobs, try to get everybody in homes, get everybody, home ownership to me is very extremely important. Whether you like to live in a trailer or a condo or an actual, starter home or a big fancy home, whatever you like, that's up to you, man. I'm not going to look you up or down no matter where you live. Just, I want everybody to live in a home. I don't want to see nobody else on the streets. That breaks my heart. It really does. Because that's not America. Making people live on the streets is not America. Making people beg for money and food, that's not America. That's just not America. Everybody should have jobs, living wage jobs. Let's, and people with disabilities can still work. You might have to leave them on disability, but they should up the rate and the pay of disability to where they can live like human beings instead of keeping them on poverty road, but still help them. But let them also take the reins and get insurance through work. That way, Medicare's not taking such a hit. Medicaid's not taking such a hit. We need more work at home jobs that pay $20, $25, $30 an hour and offer tuition and training and, get people with disabilities doing those jobs, the people who's not disabled or hurting, whatever, younger or whatever, let them people go into work every day. We all did it. They're not too good for it. Get their ass into the job. People are being kept down and nobody wants to talk about the problem. And we'll cover that in another segment. But we all need to help each other. Okay. And I don't mean give people money or toys or whatever. I'm not saying nothing like that. I'm saying help people find work they can do. If somebody's got a disability, they can't go work on a concrete slab or go build a house or go work at a factory or go drive a semi. They got to work at home. But they should be able to make a good living at it. They should be able to save some money up. They should own their own house. The cost of living in America for the jobs that are in America and the way we live is outrageous. And it needs to stop now. We need to put our foot down and say enough is enough in the right way. Not endorsing any kind of violent acts, not trying to start no trouble. We can vote, and that's our voice. Don't do nothing rash that you will regret. It's not worth it. I would love to see cars made in America again. I mean, I miss, the GMC Sonoma. Now it's called what, the Canyon or some junk. General Motors has made a lot of bonehead moves. I used to work there. I can tell you now, they've made some really stupid moves. And the union was a big part of that. At least on the union I was in. They were idiots. And they were sellouts. But, and that's why I'm not going to bash people having unions. I think that that's your right. But if you've been done the way I've been done, you may not look highly on a union. You may not want somebody having your career in the palm of their hand, and they one day decide they don't like you because you're white or whatever, and or you're black, or whatever the case may be, or you got booger hanging out of your nose, fire him, whatever. They don't give them no right to do that. They don't give them no right to do that, and they do that all the time. And that's why I don't really support unions the way I used to. I was brought up in a time when unions meant something, and then that left during my time. And I'm 50, you know. But like I said, there's things to do. Get yourself into a good novel. Get yourself, read the Bible. Go to church. Listen to music. Calm yourself. We got a lot of things coming up here shortly on Defiance Illusion on a broadcast, and hopefully you all will be with us. We're going to start jamming some music and having a good time. And when I say jamming music, I mean like in the background. And we're going to be drinking and having a good time, and we'll be talking about books and maybe doing a little bit of reading for y'all. And I thought about like I was talking about earlier, I might go do some bushcraft this coming year. After my operation, I'll be more able to do things like that. I got to get back in shape. In fact, I'm going to work out, and I will have people while I work out and go on diets and stuff to get my body back into shape and the way it used to look, as close as I can with all these scars. But I will have you guys with me, and hopefully people support me. If not, so be it. I'll support myself. But I want to thank you for your support here at Defiance Illusion. We really love y'all, and we give shout outs all the time. Matter of fact, shout out to the Big D. I hope that you like the Paul Lynn special. Shout out to Hobbs Horror and Styles Odin. Shout out to Scrap Dog. Shout out to everybody who's been on our channel. Welcome, and look forward to seeing you and speaking with you soon. This is the Gator signing off from Dayton. Staying Dayton strong. Peace.